I have a team of meeting planners who work with me called project managers, and we kind of are the outsourced meeting planning division for a lot of our clients working with their marketing firms. And I kind of sell the dream. Today's class that I did for Collaborate was called Shift, with a couple letters missing to make it a little more attractive for attendance purposes. But really it's this idea that shifting your meetings, just doing 1, 2, 3 things differently isn't a bad thing. And ultimately we have this huge responsibility to the investment of organizations, to the attendees, to really do something different, to create a cause and effect that the outcome is really powerful that helps the business. So I think if you're not in change, you're in the wrong industry. This is all about temporary. Meetings and events are temporary. They show up in a ballroom. Great quick side story was I was flying with an engineer once on a flight, and we were talking about he built skyscrapers, and I was talking to him like, wow, you have the most amazing job. That's so hard to do. And he's like, you have to build a program and load it out the next day. He's like, I don't have to engineer the out of a skyscraper. So like this thing about temporary does require constant change, so it is going on. You just might not be in tune with it. So I think really the biggest thing that can happen is learning about how to articulate for change to happen. And it's kind of just communication. There's 2 ways to say everything. One that opens people listening and one that shuts them down. And more often than not, one of the issues we have in our industry is we're not serving things up to leadership, who if you go to any good CEO and say, hey, we need $1 million to do X and it's going to result in $30 million in sales or an outcome. Any good CEO will say, if I give you $2 million, will I get 60? Ultimately, that's what you need to do. The easy thing is, where I've seen great changes, the easy thing is budgets getting more challenging, or that kind of, oh, I can't do change because it's not cost effective or I have the same budget. The thing is, it's kind of like doing anything at home or looking at your inventory and using it differently in resources. And the fact is, budgets should not be limiters because the easiest thing that you have and the most cost effective thing is ideas. They don't necessarily cost anything, and especially when you get a really powerful idea that is about change, everyone comes in and rallies and wants to be a part of that and help move it forward. So I always say invest in the ideas and spend more upfront time thinking about what you want to accomplish, because then that shouldn't have to cost a fortune or shouldn't even have a price tag, because sometimes more often not, that human energy that goes into it kind of compensates for that. Maybe not even an event, though. I just went to Fuerza Bruta in New York, which is shutting down, which is kind of like the Argentinian Cirque du Soleil. And it was a standing performance. You walk onto the stage and you are standing and everything happens above you. They actually put a pool of water above you and have people moving around you. And that was just the most amazing expression to think about in this world of kind of liability. The fact that someone was swimming in 8 inches of water in a 40 by 80 surface above me and doing art, and then you were able to touch them as they brought it down, an articulating surface. That just blew me away to think about, wow, that would be great to get in a meeting and event someday. Other than what's on my iPod, 30 Seconds to Mars, the new album dropped, loving it. I love my kids, so it's really, I work a lot, travel a lot. It's really just, I love coaching soccer. And I actually kind of take it to an extreme. I'm a huge soccer fan. So actually, on the weekends when I coach the games, I wear a suit, like a English Premier League soccer manager. And I just love seeing kids having fun and being a coach. It's probably the most effective way of me being a manager is. I'm not so effective in my business, but managing a team of 6-year-olds, I can do that pretty well. Not well, so I have a wonderful spouse at home who really covers a lot of my slack, but also being the owner of my company, I do have some freedoms that allow me to participate in different ways in my life. So it's not always done well, but sometimes that's the downside of owning a business. So. Whatever the next TED is, I feel like TED has maybe gone its course. And I know the founder is thinking about starting a new one. Whatever that, every 10 years things change, or whatever the next South by Southwest is, I would love to be on the ground floor of a Bonnaroo that in 5 years from now is that socially popular thing. The Olympics is an easy answer. I'd love to not necessarily be, I'd love to be in the ideation role of a opening ceremonies, not an execution role. I think that would drive me nuts. Yeah, I think anything in music. I'm a huge fan of music, so if there were certain bands that called me up, I'd go back out on tour, love to produce a tour for them. Like if, Martin Sexton or Christie, sorry, Carrie Underwood called me, I just saw her concert. I'd love to design her production for a year. That would be amazing.